Now, a word about animals on the Mark Thompson Show.
And our regular visitor for a word about animals is Karen Dawn of DawnWatch. DawnWatch, the postings on Facebook. You can Google where all the different places that Karen Dawn and DawnWatch post show up. I remember quite fondly the Thanksgiving celebration you used to do. It was covered by local media. It was even national media there at times. I think you had turkeys there that were live, of course, because of, everything at your place is vegan and, cruelty free. And you had these turkeys walking around the yard and all these TV crews, et cetera. But you were making a point, and it was really one of those points that, can be made on Thanksgiving Day in a way that probably can't be made any other day.
Turkeys are cool animals, and that was the point, that you can have an awful lot of fun on Turkey Day celebrating them in a different way. And so, it was just to remind people that they're cool, so that when they had kids coming home from college who didn't want to, be eating them, that they'd have a little more patience with them. And the reporters were always so surprised when they met them and got to pet them and found out that they were really, really cool. So
I remember one thing, this has nothing to do with animals particularly, but it was almost like a parlor trick. I'll tell everybody what it was. So Karen has all these people at her home, and I don't know, 35 people, something like that. And, she has them all there, and she, stands before them. By the way, this is something I feel sort of uncomfortable when I stand up in front of like 35 people if it's my party. Somebody else's party, it's okay. But anyway, she stands up in front of all these people, and then she goes around person by person and describes who they are and like how she knows them. And it's one of the most amazing things. And maybe it's just because of my anxiety, like that I wouldn't be able to hit every mark and 35 people. But you did it with such a plum, and you did it every year. You go around the room. Yeah, I know Jessica from this. I know Bob from that. I know Daphne from this. And it's like, wow.
The point of that was just so that people would learn who else was there, so that they could work out who they might want to talk to.
Yeah, I know. It was a great social mixing exercise. Yeah. Absolutely right. So tell me what you have for us today. This is a post-Thanksgiving visit with you.
Yeah, I just want to mention this last Thanksgiving, I was up in Canberra and got to feed the wild live turkeys up there, which was pretty fun. And my Instagram page actually has a photo of that. People might want to have a look at. That's the Karen Dawn. And otherwise, I'm pretty much focused on Substack at the moment. Just want to mention that dawnwatch.substack.com is where everything that I'm there. Thank you, Tony. Tony just shared the photo from magical Cambria, where and this was so fascinating because I went to feed the wild turkeys. In Cambria, when you're driving down the street, you often have to stop because the turkeys are crossing the road, and they are in no rush. They'll just, you kind of have to wait. And I thought, I want to feed some of them for Thanksgiving. So I went and I saw 3 lovely turkey girls I wanted to feed, and they ran away. They would have nothing to do with me. And then I saw some on the other side of the road who I started to feed. And then the 3 turkey girls who had run away came across the road. So I was feeding all of them. And then I realized there was a beautiful big male about 150 feet up the hill just watching. And I realized that the turkey girls were kind of scared of me until they were close enough to the male to feel protected. It was the most awesome.
That's interesting. That really is.
The turkey dynamics. If anybody wants to know anything about those turkey dynamics, by the way, PBS has a documentary special. They air sometimes on Thanksgiving. You can always find it online, called My Life as a Turkey. And it's one of my favorite films of all time. It's an hour long. It is so worthwhile. So that's one other point I'll make about turkeys at the moment is watch My Life as a Turkey. And also check out, Mutt's had a beautiful Thanksgiving turkey the day after. Did a beautiful double entendre on Thanksgiving, is when they showed A turkey family, a wild turkey family, giving thanks for having survived another Thanksgiving with family. We thank you, Tony, for sharing that. And I
Ah,
love
that's just
the
great.
double entendre there, because I know a lot of people are relieved to have survived another Thanksgiving with family. So
I was making the point. I think I was making it on the radio, but maybe I was making it here too. I don't think I did, but I always am struck by that moment where the president is pardoning the turkeys and sending them on to, it's nice that the turkeys are pardoned or whatever you want to call it that. I mean, and sent off to a refuge to live out their natural lives. I mean, hoping that actually happens. But I always felt as though it's kind of as if Lincoln had freed 2 slaves every year. You know what I mean? It was just, it's so weird to me. Again, please forgive me, everyone. I come from a perspective of wanting to see none of them harmed. And it is always funny. So there are a bunch of Thanksgiving traditions, I guess, that I'm saying kind of land in this awkward way. And this is one of them. And Trump did it the same way Obama did it, and the same way Bush did it, and et cetera,
on a happier note, I want to share really good news with you all today. If we can move along to the plastic bag ban. Is that Can we move on to that now, or did you have more that you wanted to talk about with
Well, I
Thanksgiving?
like sadness and darkness, but if you want to move on to something nice, go ahead. Yeah, I was letting you move. Go, move. You got it, baby. Take me to the light. I live in depression and darkness. Tell me when we get there, Tony. Tell me when we get to the good stuff. All right, go ahead.
This is good. This is really good news. It was announced in the San Francisco Chronicle on the weekend. A lot of your listeners may remember that supposedly California banned plastic shopping bags. It's like 10 years ago, 2014. Disposable plastic shopping bags were banned in California. And California has a wonderful, I think, law that says that if the legislature does something and somebody objects to it, they have the right to bring it to the people by a ballot measure to make sure that the people are on board. So, of course, the plastic industry didn't like this plastic bag ban much, which is done pretty much for the sake of marine mammals, marine birds, etc. And they brought it to the people, and the people said, no, we like this ban. For once the legislature did something we agree with. So the disposable plastic bag ban went into effect. So what did the plastics industry do? They said, oh, well, we're going to put out more bags that are reusable rather than disposable. They're much thicker, and they can be reused 125 times. Now, I'd love to have a hands up from your listeners as to how many people reused those reusable plastic bags 125 times. The average use was once. So that's how the plastic industry got around this very popular plastic disposable bag ban. The good news is the legislature went back and they got a ban on all plastic bags being given out by grocery stores, whether they're disposable or reusable. And I think the plastics industry is not going to, we hope they're not going to go back and try again to, put a spanner in the works by saying, oh, people don't really want this, because, people have made it very clear that they do. So that it's been signed into law, the new law banning all plastic bags being given away at grocery stores. And that goes into effect at the beginning of the year. This is incredibly good news for all sea life. I sent Tony a video. I don't know whether or not he got that, but it's the most heartbreaking video of a seagull actually eating a plastic bag, presumably because something good was left inside it that tasted good. And when they go. If you watch this whole video, sadly the seagull does actually swallow the bag, and there's no doubt that seagull is going to die because it's going to completely jam up the works inside. You've got turtles mistaking plastic bags for jellyfish constantly, and that kills them. And you've got whales, they actually looked inside the stomach of a dead whale and found plastic bags inside a minke whale. these bags are so bad for wildlife, and the ban is such incredibly good news for animals, and I wanted to share that.
No, that's just great. I'm glad you leave us with some good news. I do think it's true that when you see the plastic bags, no matter how they're built, no matter how they're pitched, they get used once and thrown away. That's just because of the societal muscle memory on plastic. It's disposable. So,
and some people, I think, might like to think that they're recycling their plastic. And there's two truths here folks do need to know about. One is that, a lot of stuff that goes into recycling bins never comes out on the right side of the other for all sorts of various reasons we could go through in another show, but they find all sorts of reasons not to recycle various things. And the other thing is there's actually no such thing as recycling plastic. It's a little bit of a misnomer. Plastic gets downcycled, not recycled. So unlike glass, where if you throw away if a glass bottle gets recycled, you can make another glass bottle out of that glass. Plastic isn't just completely reusable. So every time if you think of plastic containers, they have those numbers on them. And every time that you throw something with one of those numbers into a bin, it can get made into a different form of plastic, which is less recyclable. And after 2 or 3 goes, you get to the point where it
goes to the landfill.
So it's better than nothing to put your plastic in the recycling bin, but it's far better for animals and the environment to just avoid using plastic. And now
Karen says, I try to use reusable mesh vegetable bags, but some plastic bags are useful to reuse multiple times, so I sometimes get them on purpose.
Yes, as does everybody, and you'll be able to buy them, Karen. So, you can absolutely have them, and it's not like they're being banned from all use, but the grocery stores will not be able to just give them or even sell them for 10 cents, which is a negligible amount to most people. You might be able to buy bags for $1 or something. You can certainly still go to the supermarket and buy a bunch of plastic garbage bags that you can reuse. But we're just trying to, make it so that they're just not everywhere ubiquitously in our system all the time. And supermarkets will be allowed to sell paper bags. And paper bags are better for the environment in some ways than plastic bags. But I'm going to share, I read a book a few years ago, which is, I'm sure some of your listeners will have read, called The Overstory by Richard Powers. And it won the Pulitzer Prize. It's such a beautifully written novel. And it's about trees. And I have to say that once you've read that book, paper bags become a little bit less appealing. And you're far more likely to think, I think I'll bring my canvas bags to the store with me for the sake of the earth, for the sake of the animals who live on this earth, and for the sake of the trees that house all the animals. So it's
there's a price to be paid for everything that we do and everything we consume. Substack is Karen's most favored place of online residence.
DawnWatch.substack.com.
Say it again, please.
DawnWatch.substack.com, or also Substack at the Karen Dawn works too. Both of them take you to
we'll have a link to it under this video. Karen, there it is, DawnWatch.substack.com. So appreciate you. Have a great holiday. I guess we won't talk to you until the new year. So what we will make that plan, though. We will talk to you in the new year. May the year bring you all the blessings of this wonderful planet and all these great creatures that exist on it, including us. Really appreciate your contributions all year. Thank you, Karen Dawn.
And yours too, Mark.
All the best. Karen Dawn, everybody. That's a word about animals.
Join the flock. Again next time for a word about animals on the Mark Thompson Show.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.